Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode, who are we most excited to see next season? We're doing a draft. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in a virtual sweaty room filled with lions. I've got Ollie. I've got Chris. It's the Friday show on a Friday. And, of course, the question, what are you guys looking forward to this weekend?
Sweaty room. Speak for yourself.
Oh, well, if you've got aircon, good for you. Good for you.
I've got Windows, dude.
That didn't work today. It's been on the
That's
news.
very true. That's very, very true.
Okay, sorry.
It's a good IT joke.
Yeah. Well, come on, Ollie. What are you looking forward to?
Well, of all the football's over, isn't it? So I don't really know. I guess I'm just having a quiet one then. I'm just working. That's it.
Chris, come on, save us.
Not a lot, really. Just usual. Got a football-based weekend. Got extra training session tomorrow with the girls, and then second pre-season game for myself on Sunday. Looking forward to that.
Okay.
Hoping it's cooled down though, because I can't play in heat. It really gets to me. So I'm really hoping it's cooled down a bit.
That's fair. That's totally fair. You know what? I feel now Euro 2024 is over. Copa America 2024, it's done. And I'm going to call it the off-season window's closed. But I'm going to open up them doors to the 24-25 pre-season, and it is going to be spectacular. And just think this time next week, we'll be going through the winners and losers of our first pre-season game.
Oh God, it's all starting again. It's like, I can't tell at this point whether I'm excited or just drained.
How?
I don't know how to feel.
If it makes you feel better, the Danish, pretty much the top tier Danish league started today. So I might watch some of that. I really might. I was like, oh, a football league's kicking off. Oh, it's Denmark. I'm happy. Oh,
France
right.
are having their pre-season at the moment, aren't they? Like Ligue 1, they're doing their pre-season.
I thought you just meant France in general. You've just finished the Euros. Disappointment. Back on the pitch. But hey, before we dive into news, we've got some Shevva shout-outs. And Andre has dropped his shoulder. He's nutmegged the other podcast and he scored a perfect hat-trick. We have 3. So I'm excited. So we've got Johnny 41B. My eyes couldn't read that then. 5 stars, of course. Thank you. Another yank coming at you from Denver, Colorado. I've listened to every episode for over 2 years now. Wow, fucking hell.
Wow,
wow, fair play. I look forward to it every week. While there's certainly a growing following for the Premier League in the US, it's great to have proper Chelsea fans to connect with every week. Candidly, I think that's why there are so many Americans listening. In brackets, one of you asked that. We're seeking other fans. I've heard some rumblings about Todd's recruiting efforts in process. That's all I can say, but fingers crossed for more Palmers. Keep it up, boys. Singer pints on me at my next Chelsea game. P.S. Thoughts on doing video podcasts on Spotify. I'd love for you guys to be able to pull off transfer videos and other stats. Just an idea. Thanks again. Cheers. You don't want to see us. Come on. But that's a... No, not when I'm sweating. I'm like I just said, I'm sweaty. That's just too much. That's too much forehead of mine. On to Louis Caro, who's titled his review Louis Caro. So that's great. Top show, like fellas.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Top show, fellas. Keep up the quality jargon all the way from Australia. Come on the Chelsea.
Thank you very much.
And finally, Ragnarsson. Congrats on the 5 years. Greetings from the scorchingly hot Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, you guys have reached this far. Absolutely love the show. The back and forth banter mixed in with the personal things you know about each other is just prime listening. I only jumped on towards the beginning of last season and I've enjoyed every minute of it. For 2 days a week, your show is what I look forward to the most. Really gets through stressful days and work weeks. Keep up the great work and here's to many more wonderful years. Cheers, lads. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really
Truly.
appreciate it,
Oh,
honestly. But
always.
Shevva's shoutouts is my favorite part of the show.
It's so
Yeah.
nice. It's so, it's just lovely to hear. Like, you kind of forget that we just do this for fun, but people actually like really rely on us to make their week better. And it's like, that's such a lovely responsibility.
Yeah, they rely on us for a bit of news, a bit of Chelsea chat, keep them in the loop for the week. And yeah, it's fun.
On that note,
I think it's
go on,
probably down
Chris.
to it's probably down to how positive I am all the time.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. You
Should
are
not-
the beacon of light that shines through the
Yeah,
darkness.
this is
I
it.
shouldn't have grabbed. I went for a drink then. I really wish I shouldn't have. Oh my god.
Oh.
On that, let's hit the news. Right. There is no elevator because there's 3 stories. We're going to dive into the Enzo Fernandez story and we'll just outline the timeline of events. So he posted a video on Instagram or a live stream showing him and his Argentina teammates participating in chants while celebrating their Copa America victory over Colombia. He then issued an apology stating that the video did not reflect his beliefs or his character. His teammate, Wesley Fofana, then condemned him for uninhibited racism that was displayed in the video. And then the French Football Federation announced it would file a legal complaint. Chelsea then released a statement stating that they find all forms of discriminatory behaviour completely unacceptable. We're proud to be a diverse, inclusive club where people from all cultures, communities and identities feel welcome. We acknowledge and appreciate our players' public apology and we use this as an opportunity to educate. The club has instigated an internal disciplinary procedure. Now, you will have seen so much feedback on this from various YouTube Chelsea personalities and analysts and loads on Twitter and other social media. And it rightly did spark outrage. We're all unanimous agreeing here, from everyone on this show that there is no place whatsoever for racism or any form of discrimination. Just no. And the onus is now on Chelsea to determine what they feel is their version of appropriate disciplinary action. And it is crucial to emphasize that Enzo Fernandez's actions are indefensible and unequivocally wrong. As simple as that. And we're all in agreement, aren't we, lads?
We are.
Yeah.
2 other pieces of Chelsea news I'd like to touch on. First was the awesome news that Chelsea have announced the signing of England international and, more importantly, 5 Women's Champions League winner Lucy Bronze, 2-year contract. I'm quite hyped because you heard 5-time Champions League winner, a Euros winner as well with England. And that, to me, that is a huge signing. I mean, for the caliber of player she is and the fact she was set to join the NWSL before we persuaded her to become a Blue, I'm like, wow, all power, awesome. I mean, Chris, how do you feel about the move?
I think it's a really good signing. I think she brings a lot of experience. She brings that sort of winning mentality that Chelsea's known for. Also, though, commercially, it's a really good deal because she's obviously one of the Lioness's most popular players. So commercially, you'll think that will massively help the women's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sells a lot of shirts.
Yeah, I've already seen it like all over the women's team sort of social media. People that I follow who follow the women's team, like they're already buzzing for it. So I think it's a really good signing. I think she brings a lot of quality and experience, and I do think that's what the women's team get right. The signings the women team make, you look at them and you think, oh, that's actually going to make them better. With most of the signings that they do make. And I just think Lucy Bronze is another one. My daughter, for one, is very excited. So that's always
awesome.
a plus for me.
That's true. I was just trying to find out who the highest selling jerseys are. Most of them are the US women's national team, which makes a lot of sense, if we're honest,
Yeah.
In my opinion, Bronze embodies the qualities of that born winner mentality, that natural leader. And look how many peers of hers respect her so much. I mean, quiet calmness as a leader and yet standout performer in the most recent Champions League final. And she has a connection, of course, with Lauren James, Niamh Charles and Jess Carter from obviously the England team. So that's value. I did see, of course, there was always negativity. Is it necessary because we're adding another right back when we already have Lawrence and Perisset? Look, it's likely that Sonia has a strategic plan in place. Let's be real. And deep squad is essential when we want to compete on all fronts. And I chatted with Chris in the group chat that, perhaps one of those current right backs will depart. That we don't know. there's also the question, obviously, of her age. In my view, the squad has a lot of young talent, and introducing an experienced player with that mentality who could mentor and guide the younger members, that's just smart business. That's my take. Ollie, thoughts?
Yeah, she's a phenomenal player, one of the best women's players in the game, really. Done an outstanding job at Barcelona, as you say. What was it, 5 women's Champions Leagues? It's unprecedentedly massive.
3 at Barca and 2 at Lyon.
That'll be that can't be a dissimilar trophy cabinet to what our new women's coach Sonia Bontempastor has herself, and she's a serial winner. So make no mistake, this is a big signing for the women's team, and it's a real statement of intent, I think, to go out and pluck someone out like that out of the crowd.
Yeah.
It seems that the women's team seems to be embodying everything that sort of is classically very Chelsea. Obviously we have our reservations about how the men's team are run as a result, but in terms of the women's team, they haven't really put a foot wrong. Don't know whether that's down to their personnel, whether there's a bit more money around to be able to pick up those top level signings, or what it is. But you have to call this what it is, and that's a masterstroke.
100%. Right. This wasn't in the original script till about an hour ago. Second was Chelsea want to sign a goalkeeper to push Sanchez for the number 1 spot, and Villarreal's Philippe Jorgensen and Valencia's Ollie's friend Georgi Mamadashvili. They're believed to have admirers at Chelsea. Top 2 goalkeepers, I must say. I'd go Jorgensen for reasons. Apparently Petrovic has been offered to Genoa, but he's considered out of that club's price range. All I got from that was it took Maresca 1 week, just 1 week with them two, to realise we need a new one. Look, I do love Petrovic. I want to state that. I do love Petrovic, but I did say he was never really good enough on the ball for Maresca in that hybrid defensive role that he likes to play. And hey, look, Sanchez is just that dude makes more mistakes than a toddler with a crayon. But as a second keeper, he's okay. I mean, he's kind of like that last resort of the buffet. The good stuff's gone, but it'll do. It'll do. I'm going to go to Ollie first because Mamadashvili's mentioned. But what do you think about that goalkeeper bit of news?
It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting that the coach has come in, and originally we weren't looking for a goalkeeper, and now it
1 week
seems after a week that has really changed. And I think a lot of us did kind of see that coming a little bit. I think a lot of us were surprised when the news came out a little while ago that we weren't really planning on looking for a goalkeeper. So it really seems that this is due to Maresca's input. And interesting to know that they're listening to him like that as a result. For me, if you're gonna the Chelsea goalkeeper situation is as bad as it's ever been, in my opinion. I don't think either of the players who we have at the moment are good enough. So I think it's a good thing that we're going out in the market and going to buy a new goalkeeper. My reservations will be: is that goalkeeper still good enough? We're talking about players like Lunin, who had a disaster at the Euros and things like that. So there's a few interesting names out there. But for me, the fact that they're trying to replace Petrovic and not Sanchez, they're backing the manager, but they're picking the objectively worst goalkeeper for me. I think if you have to get rid of either of them, you do what you have to do to get rid of Sanchez, because his passing isn't, in my opinion, any better than Petrovic's anyway. Well, it's not really. He makes the defenders in front of him look like stressed and scared, and makes them make a mistake.
They age quick.
Listen, he's like what is he, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", around that kind of height. Can't catch crosses. Like, if the only thing you can put in his basket is his passing, and like I said, even that, in my opinion, isn't really better than Petrovic's. I don't think he made a much better stab out it than Petrovic did.
That's
so.
Fair.
I don't know. I think it's a positive move for a goalkeeper in general, but if you were going to get rid of one, for me, it would be Sanchez, not Petrovic.
Chris, I'm curious. And also, goalkeeper-wise, apparently Lunin for Kepa has been mentioned, which I'm like, you're upgrading a broken car for a Ferrari, but other people disagree. But Lunin, I like him. But anyway, Chris, what do you think on the whole situation?
I mean, it is interesting that we wasn't, 4 weeks ago we wasn't in for a keeper, and now we suddenly are. But I just think it's got to be an upgrade. And what concerns me is them talking about maybe bringing in a goalkeeper who can start the season on the bench. And you just think, well, what's
Yeah.
the point then? There's no
Yeah,
point in
agreed.
that.
They
Either
were
sign
saying about
someone,
James Trafford.
yeah,
Oh, no.
sign someone better than Sanchez and Petrovic, or don't sign anybody. Those are your choices. Because
Yeah.
signing a goalkeeper to start the season on the bench in the hope that he becomes your number one just seems ridiculous. When
It,
you could
yeah.
Yeah,
just
just go out there
sign a
and
number one now.
And the
It's like,
thing is,
yeah.
you've bought two goalkeepers, right? You stuck them on 7-year deals each, right? And then you're planning on one on one getting sold after a season, and another one maybe eventually dropping to the bench and being number two anyway. So you've spent 48 million quid or thereabout on goalkeepers with a 14-year collective shelf life that might not last 3 seasons. Like
Yeah.
it hardly says, that we're it hardly, it's not a massively strategic move in my view.
No, no.
I think
Listen,
I think the
if for the
reason
player trading or whatever you can get money for it, I guess do it. Like I don't understand.
Yeah,
the
they're not
finances well
rookie. They're
enough.
not like rookie quarterbacks. You let them learn under the new
But
keeper.
you've got,
You don't want him learning under Sanchez.
but I'm with Chris. You've got to be going for someone who's actually an upgrade for the squad.
yeah.
Even if it's someone who's a
Mamardashvili
lot
would be.
older. Yeah, someone who's got a bit of
100%.
experience, someone who's got a bit of oomph about them. I think you've got to have a little bit of that kind of
It-
character as a goalkeeper, and
yeah,
if you want to reach the very top.
Kasper Schmeichel's gone to Celtic, so we've lost out on a top keeper there. But it's just one of them things. Chris, what were you going to say?
I'd rather get Diogo Costa. I think if I had a choice of a goalkeeper, I think he'd be the one that I'd go for.
It's going to be a release clause job, though. That is 65 million.
I would lean fully into it and try and pry Edison away from Man City.
Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry, it is now 85 million because it's now July 1st onward. Oh,
Is that
dear.
euros though?
No, pounds apparently.
Oh God, that is a lot.
That's a lot of money.
I think the one thing it would suggest to me is I think we must have sacrificed one of the other positions. So we was looking for a right-footed winger and a striker, and not a goalkeeper. And I think if we get a goalkeeper, I don't think we get one of those two.
I think it's the striker we don't get.
Yeah, I think it could be a
Very
striker
us.
we don't get.
Very us.
Because really, I think we've realised that the market's quite dry in the striker position.
It's like,
I think it depends a little bit on movements of other players and stuff as well. Like we're still looking at that Amadirion or whatever his name is.
Oh
for
yeah,
Atletico.
Atletico. Yeah,
we're still in for him, but I think they're signing like Dovbyk, the Ukrainian from Hirona. So I think once he goes through with that, then maybe there's some movement around, and then Atletico with Gallagher and all that, like it's gonna like the cycle's gonna kick off. It'll be
when the dominoes fell, when the trio of transfers, Batshuayi to Dortmund, Aubameyang to Arsenal, and we got Giroud, and we still had the best deal out of all that. I stand by it. We had the best deal. Right, listeners, you love the fancy draft format, and we love to bring you these drafts. So today we're going to be each drafting Chelsea players that we're just excited to see in the 24-25 season. Not for a drink, but actually on the pitch. The rules are 2 picks each. It's always a snake draft, but for this draft, there is a third round. It's a wildcard round. Whoa! We can each draft any player from any league in the world that we're excited to see in 24-25. And the draft lottery has decided that the order today was going to be Berth, me, Chris, and then Ollie. Well, Berth's not here. He's forfeited his first round pick, so it goes straight to me. Oh, that's a lot of pressure. You're going to all hate me because I'm going to pick. Who do you think I'm going to pick, by the way?
You're going to pick Dewsbury Hall.
Yes, I am. Fair play. Chris knows me.
There is nothing exciting.
I do not care. I can't really play We Do Not Care because that's not, that's me. I do not care.
We do not care.
But hey, I really like him. And I'm glad we signed him ahead of Brighton because I did have TalkSport on the other month. And when they spoke about him going to Brighton or another club, I was a little jealous. I didn't think we'd make a move for him because I was like, don't really see why we would. I didn't even know if he would suit our team. But then Maresca was signed up. And then I thought, that smirk's popping up on my face. And I love his energy. I love his versatility. He's got ball carrying capabilities. He's going to add an extra dimension to our midfield. And we have a player in the midfield three who's actually left-footed. And he likes to drive forward.
From what I've seen as well, as I actually am a little warmer on this transfer.
It's going to be fun. This will be fun.
He actually does have a nice line breaker. I've seen it a
That-
few times now in a few of its videos. Now,
Telling you.
yeah, of course, yeah. It's videos on the internet, and also it's the championship. So all the caveats aside, but he seems to time the runs well. Like I can't imagine how that would be much harder to scale up in the Premier League. So I don't know.
Berth loves the championship. I love the championship. I'm telling you, it's going to be
Go on,
fun.
Chris. Bring
Fun.
us back down to earth.
No,
Ollie,
no.
don't get caught up in the 2-minute videos on
It's
on Twitter.
fun. I like
Because-
fun.
Right. I think I seen the same video as you did, by the way, and he did play some really nice passes in that video
Mhm.
against really high lines that we don't play against. So what's his
Yeah.
line breaking passes like when everyone's camped on the 18-yard box?
I'm
Yeah, well, what you're failing to understand, Chris, is Maresca's tactical masterstroke is using Keane and Dewsbury Hall against Manchester City.
I was
The
going
only
That'll
time-
stop
tell you
him,
what,
lads.
He might be good. He might be good against City. He might be good. He might be good against Tottenham, who play a suicide line. But outside of that, it's how he's going to cope playing in a team where almost every team that comes to Stamford Bridge will sit back, and
It'd
you'll
be
have no
funny.
space to operate. You'll have no
It-
space to play.
You can just see it being one of them that barely scores any goals, but gets a brace against Spurs like every time he plays them.
I'm
Yeah, that's
going big. Biscuit bet over 9.5 goals and assists this season.
That's a big biscuit bet.
It is.
Oh,
I'm getting my
goals and
biscuits out.
assists.
I'm getting them out. I'm getting them out.
Goals and assists, did you say?
Yes. Because I just
Okay,
went to
that's a
go. I
little-
went to get really arrogant and say over 12 assists, and then I realised that even De Bruyne rarely hits that number.
I
He
don't-
does, but still.
I still think that's ambitious because what you're saying there is he'd have to get 10 goals and assists, which means he's going to have to score at least 3 goals.
Yeah.
No one expected Palmer to get those numbers. Come on.
No, that's true. That is very true.
I'm going for it. Right, I'm going. Chris, who's your pick?
Davis,
Uh,
Chris.
I'm going to go with Christopher Nkunku.
Nice.
Nice.
I think in the flashes that we seen last season, in between all of his injuries,
Mm,
I think we saw a really, really good player.
yes.
The pre-season, he looked exciting. The game he came on, was it Wolves when he scored the header?
Yeah.
Looked good. He looked good against Brighton towards the end of the season. He looked good against Liverpool when he came on.
He's always looked good when he has played.
Yeah. I do think if he can stay fit, which is always a massive question mark of anyone at our club, but if he can stay fit, I think he could be really exciting. I think he'll be one of them players that he could quite easily challenge the likes of Palmer for player of the season if he plays every
Wow.
week.
That's a big shout. I don't disagree with it. I mean,
I'll be interested to see where he plays.
yeah,
I am a
that's
little
good
bit
point.
worried that he doesn't really fit in the system. But I think when you've got someone who can be that good, I think you have to find somewhere for them to play.
I think it was a year ago today he played and scored on his debut, didn't he, against Wrexham?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that come
Oh.
up on my feed and I was like, oh, bloody
Happier
hell, I remember when
days.
he played. And
Those were happier days, weren't they?
they were good days. They were good
If you look
days.
at his goals return as well last season for the amount of minutes he played, it was actually really good.
Yeah,
It's true.
He always does something whenever he plays,
Yeah.
Yeah.
except when he plays as a striker, which is what they
Yeah.
want.
I'd be interested if any. I might throw that into our predictions. The Chelsea top scorer for the season, because I can imagine no one would have picked Palmer last year. So you never
No,
know.
that's true.
Right, Ollie, who's your pick? Who's your pick?
My pick is Moises Caicedo, because I mean, think about it, right? So you got this guy. He's the most expensive midfielder ever, right? When he comes to the club, and he starts poorly, but he's continually upped his game. You know, week after week, he's put in the hard graft, and he's made those performances his own. And through his performances, he's kind of played his way into the hearts of Chelsea fans, and that's proper Chelsea. That's how you get into. That's how you properly push your way into a real sort of affinity and fandom like the fans have for you. And you're starting to see it a bit now with Caicedo. I want to see him in Maresca's system in the smaller spaces, because that's where he thrives and that's where he, did his best work at Brighton. If all goes to plan, I genuinely think he could go up another level next season.
wow.
And if he does, it will be it will be absolutely carnage for the rest of the Premier League.
I tell you what, he's still, in my opinion, one of the best midfielders in the league. It's amazing how he's done so well after what an awful start he had.
Yeah, and by the end of the season, he was one of, if not the best performer most weeks.
Can we say that's a huge shout out to his mentality? Because you could crumble and you'll never bounce back. And he got better and better and better from it. Fair
That's
play.
what I mean. Proper Chelsea. That's what it is.
We've seen a lot of players, especially Chelsea, come in, have a bad start, and they never recover. And this guy did. He did better. I mean, if he becomes even, I mean, imagine if we talk about him in 10 years' time, like Makaleli and Kante. Oh, that'd be beautiful. I mean, we probably hope we've won some trophies as well. Chris Caicedo.
Yeah, I agree with Ollie. I think he could be really good. I think we actually started to see the best of Caicedo towards the end of the season, probably the second half of the season, actually, I would say. He just kept getting better and better every single week in a completely different system to the one he was used to at Brighton as well.
Really stretched his legs, massive spaces.
Yeah.
He was a lot of the time he was really having to dominate his side of the ball.
Yeah, now he's playing back in a system that's going to be more similar to what he was playing at Brighton, and we all seen how good he was there. I think he could go up a level this season. He's carried on his form as well into the Copa America, so it suggests that he's in a good place.
People say, don't know, that the best way to have a good season is to end the past season well. And
he scored the goal of the season on his final game.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really do more well than that. He had a really good showing in the Copa America. Like if he's up for it, if he's really going to be like ready and focused next season, I think it could be scary for a lot of the Premier League. We can finally start seeing sort of a mainstream narrative that actually he was worth what we paid.
100%. Yeah. So Ollie, you've got back to back.
Yes, the second one is slightly sort of more out there pick, I think, but I'm going to pick Levi Colwill.
Oh,
because people seem to forget just how good Levi Colwill really is, and it's partly because he's been out for so long with a toe injury and absolutely ridiculous. I listen. I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor, but I don't know how you stay out for months and months with a toe injury. That's just me. But when he did play last season, it was at left back as well. And I like to think that stint has improved his defending out wide and made him more well rounded rather than being a massive waste of time. But you may beg to differ. For me, this season, I'm excited to see him because he needs to make a statement of intent. I want to see him make that centre-back position his own, whether it's in a functional 3 or whether he's on the left-hand side. I want to see him step up, and with any luck, I think he's in a strong position to do that as long as he can stay fit.
Yeah. So, I mean, Liverpool were interested in him last season. I think that happened again this summer. I mean, fair play. He's a top defender. I just need to see. I think that's the problem because of the injury. I felt I didn't see enough of him.
We've seen nowhere near the best of him yet, but that's kind of why I'm excited because I think under this system with Maresca, I think it will bring out some of the best in him. Like, I know Chris likes to say he played like 6 good games for Brighton or whatever, and that was true. But now we're going to be playing a system like Brighton did all the time. So, if he had 6 good games for them, he'll have at least 6 good games for us, and hopefully that'll be enough.
Yeah, I mean, he played 23 Premier League games last season, so it's a good sample. I mean,
yeah, it just needs a bit more, and that's in the centre back position where he can really shine.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with Ollie. I think he is another player who the system should suit. He should already be quite familiar with how to play that system. I do think last season he was decent enough. I just don't think he stood out as much as I think people wanted him to.
Well, sort of like the next jewel is the academy, number 26 on his back.
Yeah, I think again it was another case of I think people hyped him up too much in the summer last season.
Yeah,
and I think when people do that, players can only really let you down.
We put so much pressure on our own academy players, don't
we? We really do, and I think we've got to stop doing it with all of our players, new signings, players from the academy. Just let them play first, and then judge them. People start talking about, this player's the best player in the league, and you think I haven't even seen him yet, so let's just calm down until we've actually seen him play, and then we can get excited. The best way to do it was the Cole Palmer situation. People was a little bit on the fence. Some people really liked it. Some people was a little bit more like, oh, I'm not sure that's a good signing. So no one really ever bigged him up, and then he surprised everyone. And you can only really be surprised when your expectations are really low. So I just think sometimes we set ourselves up for disappointment.
You mean like when Amanda Broja scored 4 goals very quickly and everyone went,
yeah, that's
he's
what
him.
I mean.
He's him.
Look, it's exactly what we're doing now with these Brazilian kids.
Yeah.
All I see every day is 30-second clip of something that he done in a game, and it's the Premier League's not ready, and I think no, he's not ready. He's about 16, mate. He's not ready.
Well, part of
so let's calm
I think
down.
they both got injured.
Oh no!
Yeah,
like literally, like in the last week.
Of course.
I think it's not that. I don't think it's that serious for either of them. I think it's just a bit of a knock or keeper.
They've got a year to recover because they're not going to be with us this season.
I do think
it's scary, isn't it? Because
they're
these are 16-year-old kids, oftentimes 16, 17-year-old kids getting crunched in tackles by 30-year-old men. So it's like,
go on, Chris.
I think with Colwill though, I think he'll be helped this year by the fact that no one is really talking about him anymore.
Yeah, pressure's off
because he sort of drifted out towards the end of the season. I think he'll come back in, and I think he could surprise a few people and make that centre back position his own with Thiago Silva not there anymore.
I mean, Maresca's going to like him, isn't he? He's a ball-playing defender.
Yeah,
exactly. He's got every opportunity to play with his skill set. It's just about for him whether he grabs the opportunity when it comes his way, and for his sake, I hope it does.
Yeah.
Chris, who's your pick?
I'm going left field here, and probably going to annoy some people.
Oh, hello.
I'm picking a player from the women's team.
Oh, nice.
Go on then.
And I'm picking Myra Ramirez.
Yes, 100%.
I think
that's a fair shout.
She came in and looked impressive from the off, but you could see that she was still getting used to her teammates, and her teammates were still getting used to her, and she was probably still getting used to the WSL as well. But the way she destroyed Man United on the final day showed you a glimpse of what she can do when she's in top form. And I think if she can do that for a whole season, I think we're talking about a player who could absolutely tear the league apart and people talking about her at the end of the year as WSL player of the season.
Wow, I'd love that. That'd be so good for her. The only thing I worry about Ramirez is it's not her, it's the officiating, because we saw teams literally do their best to bring her to the ground with awful tactical fouls, which you say a tactical foul, just like taking people down. And the officials were like, and you're like, you can't go, there. I mean,
she gets pulled up as well for a lot of her physical challenges because she's just so much bigger.
Remember Ramirez. Remember Hazard. He literally was kicked everywhere. You just, come on. It's not, when they go, a player's claiming they should be looked after and protected. They're not doing it because, they want an advantage. They're doing it because they feel that they are genuinely hit harder than anyone else every game. Just, that's the thing. I mean, Ollie, what do you think of Chris's pick?
Yeah, I like Myra Ramirez. I mean, she's a real tour de force. I mean, you could see from that Man United game, like Chris said, it's just a glimpse of what potentially you've got there, which is, in terms of like a striker, like she's like a real animal. And so like, I really like the way that she just uses the way she uses a frame and the way she can hold the ball up as well. But she's got a really powerful strike to her too. She's a very classic number 9 in that sense. And I think she's got the world at her feet now. So next season she just has to go out and show what she can do. Level playing field, like with all the other strikers that we've got. So but I think she's got a good chance of rising to the top. I really do.
Right, my second pick was actually difficult because I did state in my little script here, I put, if Raheem Sterling is on the board, him. And he is on the board. No one has picked him. I've got to go with the red hair. I've got to go with Mark Cucurella. He had a team of the tournament performance at Euro 24. he was in it, so was Kyle Walker. Don't know why, but that's not the point. Sorry. I've got to do that. It's just, what are we doing? No.
Yeah, I agree.
look, he reinvigorated his career, and he had an incredible end to the last season.
He's
And
done well, hasn't he?
he's now positioned to be one of the most exciting players to watch for anyone next season. You know, he excels in the inverted left back role, which Maresca adores more than I adore a fresh batch of cookies. I'm hyped. I'm hyped to see what he can do for us, because at the Euros we saw that sharp tackling, we saw the timed interceptions, and he could read the game, and he was able to stop those attacking threats, and he went forward, which he was doing for us, and hey, look, he delivered a precise cross which led to Spain's winning goal. Oh my word! Honestly, Cucurella with red hair as well. I think he's going to have a season, and he's going to be playing under the perfect manager that's for him. And for me, I had to pick Cucurella. I just cannot wait.
I mean, he's the hottest player in the squad at the moment, isn't he? Like, maybe apart from Palmer, who scored in the final, but you know, like he's done really, really well for himself. Like, to go from, you know, he's getting booed and all this other stuff, and the adversity you kind of have to go through, and he's been called by a lot of people, including us at times, as one of the worst defenders we've ever bought for the money.
Yeah,
and to come back from that and to be doing a really good job now. Is just phenomenal for him. I'm really happy for him, but the only but to that is I want to see it next season as well.
That's fair.
To me that this isn't a purple patch.
I mean, before I turn to Chris on this, I must state, you just saying about the booing, we need to stop, I think, in general, booing our own players because they're having a bad game. It doesn't help. It's never helped. No one has made, even like Mudryk has been poor. Booing him, he's not suddenly going to turn around and go, you know what? I should play better. It's never, stop it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. You know, come on. Do you perform better at your job when I boo you? No. So, Chris, Cucurella.
I think he's a good pick.
Yes.
I think he's a really strange one, though, in the terms of his position within sort of the Chelsea fan base, because he was one of our best performers towards the end of the season. I think that's fair to say. Quite consistently as well. He's gone to the Euros. He's won the Euros, being arguably, you could make a case for him being Spain's best players. Yeah, you could make the case for him being Spain's best player. He was a top 3 at least. His performances have never been better, and yet still half our fan base want to sell him, which I think is really odd.
They want Chilwell, even though he never plays.
I just think we've got a really weird fan base at the minute who we just don't like players who succeed. We like Mudryk. We like a trier until they're good, and then we don't like them anymore. Because at the minute, you've got to say Cucurella at the moment, based on his form at the back end of last season and his form for Spain in the Euros, he walks into the starting 11. 100%. And it's his place to lose. I do agree with Ollie. I think he has still got, and he's got another season where he'd have to perform like that consistently well throughout the season to prove that it isn't just a purple patch. But if you look at how he performed before he went to Brighton and then at Brighton, and then how he's performing now, it would suggest that his dip in form was the anomaly, not the good performances.
Good point on that. It's like I saw a lot on social that we should keep Chilwell and Ian Maatsen, and I thought at the time, I still stand by. Ian Maatsen's a good player. He might go on to be better than Cucurella and Chilwell. I don't know that. I don't know the future, but we never saw Ian Maatsen play enough for Chelsea to say he's better. So that's the risk, isn't it? Just because he was good at Dortmund, don't mean he's going to be good for us. You've got to remember that. It doesn't always work.
I think people have got to remember that Michy Batshuayi went on loan to Dortmund in January and got in Bundesliga Team of the Year.
Yes, he did. He was amazing.
No one wanted to keep him either. So it doesn't always translate, does it?
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. It's a really good point, actually. I was just going to look. He got 7 goals in 10 games for Dortmund. Yeah,
he was class. He really was really good.
Good FIFA card as well, I must say. Right. Wild card. And I've got Arda Güler of Real Madrid.
Nice.
He took the Euros.
Will he play enough?
Well, Carlo's got to have some big cojones if he says no, because he took the Euros by storm for Turkey. He's at the biggest.
But who's he dropping? Who's he dropping? So you've got
Modric,
Rodrigo.
yeah, Modric. I don't
You've
know.
got Rodrigo,
Geriatric Modric.
Vinicius, Mbappe, Bellingham.
Mbappe. You don't need
their
him.
front
No.
four.
Yeah, you don't need Mbappe.
Who's he dropping there?
You don't need Mbappe. Sell us Vinicius Junior. We'll take. We'll happily. Right. Look, he's at the biggest club in Europe. He's already got 10 games for the Galacticos under his belt. It's a big season to kick on, and I just sort of this is why I picked him, because I thought, imagine if Gula and Yamal, that becomes the new poster for El Clasico. Like, you had Messi versus Ronaldo, you had Zidane versus Ronaldinho. The La Liga might be the league to watch next season. And hey, do Bluco own a Spanish club? If they don't, we should own a Spanish club. I even wrote, I had a little rant here. I put, I want Deportivo La Coruña, because I want that early noughties Champions League nostalgia. Because I think Pandiani, who actually tweeted us once, legend he is, friend of the show, Scaloni, Tristan, Capdevia, Valeron, just vibes. And Pandiani again, because he played for Birmingham City. And again, he did message our pod, which, you know, I loved him for that. So,
Legend.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to go, Chris, who's your pick? Who was your wild card?
I've picked Rafael Leao.
Oh,
And I've picked Leao because I am a Serie A fan.
you are?
But also he is a dying breed, Leao, of wingers who just want to run at people. He gets the ball and he just wants to make stuff happen. He wants to go past the fullback. He wants to get shots off. He wants to get crosses into the box.
Really aggressive
He's one of the
player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of them players who, if you was at the stadium, when he got the ball, you'd stand up. And I don't think there's many. I don't think there's many of them left anymore.
Wow.
So that's why he is my wild card pick.
That is a good shout. I didn't think that maverick quality where you're like, oh, something's going to happen.
Yeah, a footballer.
Yeah. I mean, look, the one thing he must improve on, don't dive. You got suspended in the Euros for dive. I mean, look, if you get sent off for a red card tackle, okay, you know, whatever. It's not great, but for diving, it's just like, really? Come on. Oh, Ollie, who's your pick?
I kind of went much with a similar kind of vibe to Chris, like a winger who makes you get off your feet and you just want to see what he does. And for me, that's going to be Jaden Philogene. Is it Philogene of Aston Villa?
Don't ask me. Why? Don't ask me. What are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, there's no point, is there? We'll go with Philogene, Jaden Philogene of Aston Villa, because he seems like pure excitement. Lightning reflexes, dribbles like I've never seen before, like innovative and interesting solutions to problems that he finds in game that he solves in real time. I want to see if he can do it on the biggest stage and with that much talent, because it seems that he's absolutely brimming with potential. And if he can do it, Villa aren't downgrading when they lose Moussa Diaby. They're upgrading.
Yeah.
Ooh, good shout. I mean, no one's picked any Man United players there when they've just signed over 100 million in talent in Euro and Xerxes, which still Xerxes and oh my word, 100 million. I'm just doing digs here today at Manchester clubs.
They love overspending on a striker from Serie A who didn't get 10 goals.
Oh no, I can't. That's horrible. Oh no, you can't do that to Hoyland. No, I won't allow that. No.
They've got two strikers now, by the way, Man United. Two strikers, both from Serie A, costing well over 130 million, 140 million combined, without 20 goals between them.
We can talk, Lukaku. Come on.
Yeah, they signed him too.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
That's so very fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna shush. Right. On that, time to head to Quaresma's questions to answer some listener questions. Lucas asked, after such a successful Euros, can Cucurella claim the left back spot as his own? I've always said that confidence equals form, and he seems to have that fire in his stomach again. I think we all agree. Yeah, I think we pretty much said it, didn't we?
I think the only thing that stops Cucurella from playing would be if Maresca chooses to invert Reece James as the right back instead.
Which he could do.
Which he could well do.
I mean, for the first 3 games, he won't be.
No.
That's a very good point.
I remembered.
That's what I mean. So that's what I was saying about Cucurella. It's his spot to lose. I think Cucurella will start the season and I think we'll invert the left back as he was doing at the back end of last season.
Yeah.
But if he has poor games at the start of the season, which we just don't, you don't know, dear, what can
Yes,
happen.
of course.
And then Reece James comes back.
Mhm.
I think Maresca will want to find a place for Reece James in this team.
Well, he's the
and
captain.
looking at it,
He is, yeah, exactly.
his best position is going to be inverting as the right back, isn't it? Into that midfield role that he played at Wigan. So that could then cause a problem for Cucurella. But I think if he performs in the first 3 games, I think his competition for left back is next to nothing.
No, true. Right, from one draft pick today to another. Strizzy5 has asked how many goals for Nkunku this season. That's a biscuit bet.
I'm going to say 10 goals.
You know what? I said over 10.5 because he played 11 games last season. So why not 11?
I think he'll play more than last season, so I think he'll score more goals. But I don't know. I think people seem to be a little bit under the impression that like just because Pochettino is no longer at Chelsea that we're not going to have the injury problems anymore. Like and that bothers me quite a lot because I don't know, like the current injury problems that we've had at the club, they seem to predate the ownership as well as like the manager and most of the squad anyway. So for me, it's just like people are looking at us, right, and going, yeah, well, look, they've got Romeo Lavia and Reece James and Wesley Fofana who all didn't play last season. If they all play, Chelsea do much better, and that's true. The question is if they will, and actually, so far the body of evidence tells us that it's less likely they will. So
that's fair.
That's fair. I just want to be cautious before we start talking about players getting however many goals a season who have been out for most of the time that they've been at the club. Like you've got to think about what's realistic here.
That's fair. Chris, come on. How many?
I agree with what Ollie just said. But working on the assumption that he doesn't get any major injuries, so plays most games. If we're talking all competitions,
yeah, we are.
I think 21.
What? Oh, bloody hell!
I think people are forgetting. I think people are forgetting that we're in the Europa Conference League
and the Club World Cup, the new Club World Cup, aren't we?
Yeah.
No,
so I think
that's in the summer.
Oh,
that's technically
that's after the season ends, isn't it? But it's still another competition. It's more games, isn't it?
So again, I do think in the Conference League he could quite easily get 8 in the Conference League, which would leave him not needing many across the Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup.
Fair play. We've got proof now. It's in the Discord, so there you go. 20.5 goals. Wow, over that one. Fair enough. Cold Palmer has asked if you finally Cold Palmer has asked if you had to keep one and sell the other between Badiashile and Disasi, what would you do? Disasi, keep him, sell Badiashile.
No, I'm the other way around. I think you sell.
I knew you would be. I love Disasi. I just love his energy. I just love him. I just love that man.
Badiashile's ceiling's much higher.
I can't.
Tough,
I can't disagree with that.
But Disasi has had the better performance, like the best performance out of the two of them in a Chelsea shirt.
That is also true.
I think I would keep Disasi. And I think I'd do that because you don't see many managers, for whatever reason, who want to play 2 left-footed centre-backs. And I think Colwill is better than Badiashile.
Yeah, that is true.
So I would keep Disasi.
Okay.
But it's a tough one.
Oh, yeah.
It is a tough question. That
I mean, I might have answered it quickly, but that's only because like vibes. And I keep saying I want fun this season. Fun. So with that moves us calmly on to the Lone Army Carousel.
Yay.
Play the song. Please play the song. This soundboard sucks.
Oh, no.
There we go. Oh. The power wasn't working there, but now with the carousel spinning.
Arcade,
must run off Windows.
So last time around, it was literally a week ago. Chris, you won.
Yeah, and I threw it away.
Yeah.
Whoever wins today takes the lead. Can Chris do it? Can Chris do it? We'll find out. So the category even is the Dutch. And that's because more than 100 Dutch men have played in the Premier League over the years. And I want you to name the Netherlands' top 25 appearance makers in the competition. And I've got the numbers as well. So, any questions? Because, technicalities last week. Come on.
So you're asking us, hold on.
Yeah.
the Premier League, the Dutch Premier League players with the most appearances.
In the Premier League, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So, you know what? You're the current champion, Chris. So, you don't get the advantage of going first. So, Ollie.
Okay.
Ollie, I need a name.
Dennis Bergkamp.
315.
Wow. Good start. Virgil van Dijk.
264.
Hasselbank.
288.
Edwin van der Sar.
I was going to go with him.
313.
Robin van Persie.
Oh, great shout that.
280 appearances.
Now, I've got one, but he wasn't there that long. But would he have been? No, I'm going to save it. I will go with Ruud van Nistelrooy.
150. I thought more.
Nathan Ake.
He wasn't there that long, no.
No, and he did have an injury, didn't he? His knees.
I
Yeah.
said Nathan Ake.
225.
Oh, it's a Chelsea one.
Oh.
Mario Malkia.
283.
Dirk Kuyt.
Oh, shout.
208.
A Liverpool legend, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bolo Senden.
Oh, 180. 180.
That was a risk.
I'm gonna go with
Liverpool, Borough.
I'm gonna go with
Chelsea.
someone who I think has had a lot of games, but not at the top level of the Premier League. Tim Krul.
Tim Krul.
Oh,
Wow,
good shout.
222.
Thank you.
Wow.
My wife's a Norwich fan.
Wow, good shout.
About another goalkeeper because they play a lot, don't they? So they don't have to be here as long.
No.
Ed De Hoy.
Ed De Hoy, 123.
Ooh, okay. Genie Wijnaldum.
217.
Struggling now. I'm not gonna lie. I've got one, but I just don't think he was there for long enough. What about what about left back was at Chelsea and then didn't. Patrick Van Aanholt.
Oh, good.
213.
He played a lot for Palace, didn't he, in the end?
Yeah, he went
did.
to Palace and played loads.
And Sunderland.
I think he's still in the Premier League, is he? Joel Veltman.
120. Just in. Couple of Chelsea players left as well.
Is there really?
Yeah. There was no way you're going to get the one that played for us during like 89 to 92. I'm sorry, no one is.
No, you're probably right there.
There is someone who was going to get it. Of course they do listening.
What about? No, this is a. Oh yeah, remember him. What about Leroy Fer
Oh, what?
Oh, 123. Great.
for
Great
Swansea?
shout. Yes.
I'm struggling now.
I can't count. There's only one Chelsea player.
Pullet?
Should have.
I
No.
don't know.
Chris, to win it. Who is that risk? Who is it?
No, I can't because I'm pretty sure he wasn't there long. What's the least amount of appearances? Can you tell me that?
Joint
On the list.
107. Joint 107. You haven't
No,
even said the
that-
most appearance maker. I can't believe that. There.
That'd be about 4 years. So
There's a
No.
I can't. I'm not. Well, there's a guy on
There's
here.
absolutely
the most,
no chance I was alive then.
You will know this player.
what about played for Watford?
Oh,
Gabriel Janmaat.
145. Chris
well done, Chris.
takes the lead. Oh,
The one I
Chris-
was thinking of, by the way,
Yes.
was Rafael van der Vaart.
and if you'd have said him, you'd have been out. Wasn't on there.
God.
Oh.
So You had the detective, Aaron Dazoo, with 146.
Never heard of it.
Davy Proper, 107.
Oh, yeah. Played for Brighton.
Eric Peters, 225.
Yeah, should have got that.
Goalkeeper, Hans Siegers, 119. Johnny Heitinger, 129.
Oh, yeah, remember him.
Johnny Heitinger.
Yeah. Former Chelsea centre-back, Ken Nkunku. I don't remember him.
No.
He was the one from 89 to 92. Everywhere, I have a disguised phone number. Ryan Babel, or Babel, as I would have said. Yeah, I have his phone number. Don't ask why. I don't know. I just do.
I can't believe he's on that list and Van der Vaart isn't.
Really?
That's
107.
mad.
I'm very surprised.
Do you want to know who the appearance maker with 382?
Don't know.
You can't think of who it is. A midfielder. Played for Hull.
Dutch.
Yeah, he played. I'll give you the clubs that he played for in England. He went Coventry, then Villa, then Borough, then Hull, then Forest.
No,
Not in that order.
This definitely sounds like I wasn't alive.
George Boateng.
George Boateng.
But how? So
382.
382 games. So he was there for about 10 years.
He joined in Coventry City in 98 and he still was at Hull in 2010. So
Yeah,
he was there for a while.
I'm not going to lie. I forgot he was Dutch. So
I had no idea he was Dutch at all.
Appalling.
Is he never played for the national team?
He played 4 games for the Netherlands between 2001 and 2006.
that'll be why I didn't think he was Dutch.
He was born in Ghana but raised in Holland, and that's why.
Yeah, see, it's the surname, isn't it? Because that's a
Yeah,
Ghanaian
because
That's fair.
you got
That's fair.
Kevin Prince Boateng, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Right, I'm going to do it. Hazard's headliners, the name, player in the news. Clues get easier because it's a quick one. So, number 1, he was born in Switzerland but chose to represent the country of his parents. So, that's not really helpful, is
Nope.
it? 2, some of his honours include 2 Europa League titles, 4 La Liga titles, and a Champions League title. 3, he has played with Mark Cucurella, Mesut Ozil, and Anthony Martial at club level. Okay.
Yeah.
In January of this year, he moved to the Saudi Pro League.
Nope.
Okay. And 5th, there's no way you can't get off this. The midfielder started for Croatia in the 2018 World Cup final.
Is it Brozovic?
It is not. I'll give you the clubs. I feel like you'll get it after this.
Oh, is it Ivan Perisic?
No, but you were so close because they're teammates now.
Is it? No.
No. He played with Cucurella at Barcelona, Mesut Ozil at Schalke, and Martial at Sevilla. Because it's
Rakitic.
It's even Rakitic who joined
Rakitic.
Hajduk Split, and he teams up with. This is great. This. He teams up with obviously his teammate Ivan Perisic, and who is that club managed by now? Big name. Same letter surname as first name.
No idea.
Gennaro Gattuso.
Wow.
Oh, of
I
course
have no.
it
I
is.
didn't even know that. I was doing research for the obviously the question. I was like, Gattuso manages Hajduk Split.
That's random, isn't it?
It's so out there.
Good for him.
Like, wow. I mean, I knew he was at. I think the last I'd heard of him, he was at Marseille. But yeah. I mean, Gattuso's managerial career is interesting. It goes Sion, Palermo, Crete, Pisa, AC Milan, Napoli, Valencia, Marseille, Hajduk Split. I was like, that's a lot of good clubs there.
That one.
It's like really good clubs.
It's that one.
Yeah.
It's that one. What they call Fleetwood Mac song. You know, I want to be with you everywhere.
Oh, listeners, we're at the end of another episode. Thank you for listening as always. Treat yourself well. We're back Monday. I cannot remember what we're doing, but it's on the spreadsheet, so I'll look at that. So till then, that is going to be us signing off. You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.